Wait a second. You're about to you're about to see a video that is really, really cool and very interesting. But before I say this, I want to say that I am not threatening anyone. I am not calling for some revolution. I want to instill again that there is absolutely zero reason to physically harass or retaliate in some form if you agree with what I'm saying. If you disagree with me, please just don't watch this channel. There are many people that are not supposed to be watching my content. But if you're a human being that finds themselves as a relative or confused at the CJP process, please understand there is someone that's doing something about it. That's me. Step one is your cooperation. When I see that there are thousands of people that are watching this video, means that there is a need for reform. If people are continuously going to CJP court without actually understanding it, please remember that my content is suppressed. So that I am outside of the algorithm. So you really have to go a little bit further to understand what I'm talking about. So I have to make a federal case out of this. When I say that, I literally mean that. And I do this on behalf of the people of the county of Essex because clearly in the upcoming video I'm able to prove myself mathematically. Please understand that once again I am a pacifist. I'm a non-violent human being, while at the same time I'm a paradox because I'm a collector of knives. I'm a fan of Japanese swords as well as Japanese armor. I am a big fan of military strategy and I love war movies and action movies. That does not make me a violent person because I can draw the line between fantasy and reality. In the real world, I'm a father, I love my children, I will express on a different video completely who I am and what the book of Daniel is all about, as well as something called Reality Check. Reality Check is going to be the name of the videos that I continuously film to remind everyone what date it is, what is happening in the background, what could easily be done to resolve these issues, but what is actually being done by the people that are outside of my control. Ladies and gentlemen, please always remember you only have control of your actions. No matter how much you think you control other people or the factors outside of your life, you do not. It is an illusion. But being in control of your own actions means that you have the opportunity to make a change. If you live in the county of Essex and want to make a change, do not start with some useless donation that goes to a third party that you've never met. Do not start with some project that is overwhelmingly impossible and guaranteed for you to fail. Start with something small, such as CJP court and a beta project, which is what I'm going to be doing. This is my response to being unlawfully arrested, humiliated, and having my entire relationship with my children artificially ruined. All because I've done nothing wrong than one, come forward via YouTube and spoken publicly on behalf of the office of the president. Two, spend my entire life providing for the people who have fucked me the most. Three, I have never said a single lie, neither on YouTube nor in court, which is extremely important in the context of what's going on. And that being said, boys, I love you very much. I apologize for being a human being that is looking to do good. I know that one, if not both of you, are going to follow in my footsteps and make sure to put money second and put the needs of human beings who need your help first. And please remember, for anyone who wants to judge you, you are number one, boys. Always remember that. You are number one. So you have something that you can say when you get a little bit older to anyone who has a word of criticism about you, your father, or anything that goes against the U.S. Constitution, which is why I'm here today. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Jamie. How are you? Miss Resnick is in the room. I have no interest in lying, and I want to make this video very clear. This video is called What is CJP Court? So before I go into what is CJP Court, and I'll go into the mathematics behind it, but Ms. Resnick, may I borrow a pad? You see, in the county of Essex, in the state of New Jersey, there are multiple municipalities that work under a pyramid of something called the criminal justice system. That criminal justice system pretends to abide. Excuse me, I find myself with the hiccups. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:05. Let's say I don't feel well. Okay. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I've had 4 invasive organ surgeries. Invasive. I want to remember what I'm talking about. And I've been incarcerated 4 times in Essex County Correctional Facility. Okay? that is known as the Green Monster. That is not a moniker that is just because the actual building is green. It is because it is a complete atrocity what goes on inside of the Green Monster. Now, there are no humans to blame for this. Why? Because there are individuals that are at the top of the pyramid chain, such as Joseph DiVincenzo Jr., who easily could be pointed a finger at, while at the same time recognizing that how on earth can one person achieve a massive fraud such as what I'm about to describe without the complete coordination and cooperation of almost everyone involved and understood what they were doing. So when I explain that there's an issue, I am not pointing a finger at anyone except the taxpayers who have funded this without the actual investigation. Now, until I spent the better portion of about 2 hours, approximately, maybe less, maybe about an hour, hour and a half, in the CJP court, I first spent 31 days in county jail, and I was able to really get a look at CJP court both from the inmate's perspective as well as from the outside perspective of exactly what's going on. So first, let's get through the numbers very quickly. And what I am trying to show is that there are many people that are falsely incarcerated and offer very little as a response to what happens to them. I am not one of those people. I am a human being who takes every opportunity that is given to him to maximize on helping other people. That is not something that is new. That is something that I've done my entire life because I believe that humans like myself who are given gifts, such as a really, really intelligent brain, are allowed a chance to speak and to change things for the better before being outcast as an average human being who is doing nothing more than trying to get an upper hand and leverage the fact that he is, quote, caught in a system. That is not what is happening here. What is happening here is that I have had a chance to review the entire mathematics of the process, and I'm able to explain to everyone that CJP court is a fraud. It is a fraud for against the people of the state of New Jersey, especially in the county of Essex. But first, let's get through the numbers of how much it costs. There's a judge, so it's one judge, and 1/4 of a judge, which is the backup judge or anyone that is required to take the place. Let's say that one judge makes approximately $200,000 per year. For example, I am not going to even name the name of the judge, but I will tell you that this judge's capacity to understand the law far is below the necessary standard based on what I have seen this judge do himself in the 4 appearances that I've had in front of the judge, as well as the 1 appearance that I saw Ms. Resnick go through yesterday. I was an eyewitness to a process. That does not mean that I will be showing anyone any of this because it is expressly forbidden to show certain aspects of court without permission. Now that alone in itself is illegal and a violation of everyone's constitutional rights because anything going on in court should be public knowledge unless there's a victim who is prevented from from privacy, which is really their right when they are a victim. In those circumstances, I do agree that it should not be public knowledge. And that will go even further to say that if you're not allowed to record in court, how are you allowed to then disseminate the information publicly via the court system so everyone could read about it? It is a one-sided narrative where only the end result of the system's decision is shown rather than the process. That is because people gravitate to the negative and so forth. So we have $200,000. Then you have 2 bailiffs, probably around 4 total necessary in order to run it. And we're going to do 4 to 6 because remember it's much more coverage than you're actually seeing. There are people in the back and things like that. So out of 4 to 6, we're going to unfortunately take the 6 as the high number because remember it's an entire court process. Each one of them is paid approximately $85,000 per year. And let's take out the old calculator because my specialty is applied mathematics, and although I am pretty good at algebra, that is only through hard work and dedication. So we have about $510K in law enforcement. We have 200K. Then you have the clerks. They make approximately 80 to 130K, probably around 100K per year. Then you have, including that one officer in the front that was coordinating everything through a pad, who actually was the only human that actually was doing anything. But do you remember his name? Officer, he was his Hispanic name. He was an agent, he said, or something like that. Remember, he said it was like
I have it.
he had an official title. So I'll tell you his name because he deserves credit. There's a human being inside of the CJP court that is working very hard. He is the only human that is necessary for the entire process after I'm done expressing to everyone exactly what's going on. So you have approximately 6 human beings on the back end of that. So that's pretty simple to calculate. That's 600K per year. And then you also have the prosecutor that is involved. That's another 250K per year of labor minimum. And then you have the PD when necessary involved, and that's another 400K per year, because there's a massive redundancy in process that is wasted. So all in all, let's see what the super low number of the cost from the front end of what my assessment was. 200 plus 850. No. See, that's where we make a mistake. 200 plus 510K. See, let's not go crazy. Plus 600K plus 250K plus 400K. Equals it around 1,960,000. Could round that up to 2 million, okay? Now, let me express to you what I saw with my own eyes yesterday. What I saw with my own eyes was a Judge N, verbally recite the rules of the court over the course of 1/2 an hour, then have a Spanish interpreter regurgitate that entire rule. Now, let me explain to you what actually happens when you're incarcerated. You do not see any of this. You are not told that you are allowed an attorney. You are not told the rules. You are not even given a piece of paper of how the CJP process works. That alone shows that this is unconstitutional. But to go even further, let me express to you what exactly CJP court is. It is a filter process. It is a first step process where a human being by law is required to see a judge within 24 hours. But in the state of New Jersey, there's no such thing as bail anymore. There's something called bail reform, which makes no sense since bail in itself is a new product. So you don't need to reform it, you just have no bail. So it would be bail reform if there was bail. So just alone, the people that are in charge don't even know how to use the language that they were taught as children. I learned the English language at 9. You see, everything I'm saying is 100% the truth. And one of the reasons I'm able to prove it is through basic mathematics. Now, when you look at the entire process, there's only one of two things that happen when you go to CJP court. Either the state does not call for a retention, which is option 1, which equals a release. So the person spends approximately 1 to 2 days total incarceration, because there's the process going through it, seeing the judge, and then it takes at least 8 to 24 hours to be released from jail, because the clerk's office must sign a piece of paper that says that there are no outstanding warrants for this person. So you're also going through an entire filter process of anything you may or may not have done throughout your entire life, which you did not voluntarily sign up for, but because you're in custody, there is now a chance for the state to keep you longer, because it's going to make sure to hold everything against you. Now, there is a very strong argument to be made, why wouldn't they, if they are responsible for this crime? This is not the venue to discuss this. There's a whole separate video and a whole separate matter where I will express the difference between innocent human beings that are charged with a crime and guilty human beings that are incarcerated awaiting trial. Those human beings are not humans that can be identified by any human in the United States based on the rules. So that paradox of treating both innocent human beings and guilty human beings in the same facility with the same standard is in itself showing how incompetent the rulers of this great land really are, because they don't see that just by, and wait, so then there is option 2. Then the state calls for a motion for detention, which then calls for a hearing. That hearing is for something called pretrial. Pretrial release has been nothing but really accommodating to me and my circumstances. So you will see that I will express that pretrial is not something that should be removed from the system. But CJP court, and it should exist, it should just be fully automated, and the entire process needs to be televised to the inmates, especially a basic message as far as, hey, this is what's going on. You've been incarcerated. You will go through a process known as CJP, which stands for County Judicial Prosecution, process, County Judicial Process. So then the second option is then there will be a hearing within approximately 6 days, at which point you will then be either released, then there is one of 2 options, then 1, 2, 1, 2. And as you can see, this filter process has already been predetermined, since at step 1, where Judge N sees you, if you are not released automatically and you're detained, you do not have neither an attorney present, meaning that there is a human being, but they do not speak on your behalf, so there is no human being. So it doesn't matter if there's a human being that's assigned to you. If you have an attorney that's not speaking or saying what you wanted to say, they're not actually your attorney. Believe me, it could easily be proven through thousands of case laws. That's what malpractice is, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Then there is step 2, which is a motion for detention. So effectively, the entire $2 million is flushed down the toilet where it could be fully automated. I am 100% not joking. There is absolutely zero reason why there are human beings in the world of automation that are involved, not to mention the fact that there are human beings that are paid money to violate the U.S. Constitution, prevent the humans that are incarcerated from knowing their rights, proceeding illegally, and being allowed to save millions of dollars by doing everything through the Zoom process and not actually transporting the people, so that the budget's called for the transportation and the shifting and whatever, and they're able to save millions of dollars by running it through Zoom. So the cost is $2 million. I am curious what the actual budget for CJP Court is from the County of Essex Essex vicinage. The venue is very important because there's a budget and a line item that is allocated for something called CJP Court and pretrial, believe it or not. So as you can see, pretrial is a really good thing that's very positive. CJP Court is not only useless, it is necessary as part of the legal process, but it is necessary for it to be honest and transparent with the people involved, as well as tax effective and strategically viable for 2026 and not in 1994 the way it's being run. So we have gone actually backwards in the judicial process by misuse of technology. I hope I've been very clear so far in my breakdown of what is CJP Court. That is the conclusion of this video. I hope have I been informative?
Very.
Do you understand now a little bit?
I still don't know nothing.
Okay, I understand. So we'll go into that a little bit further, but essentially this entire video is part 1. So there'll be a couple of parts of what is CJP Court, and it is designed for any human being such as yourself who find themselves, what is CJP Court? So if you are a family member, please pay a family member of a human that's incarcerated. I'm going to explain to you the entire process of why there is no need for private attorney at this process. There's a secondary hearing, so we're going to call this H1, H2, and H mystery. And the reason why it's H mystery is because there's option 1 where you're released on pretrial, and that is based on a slew of circumstances. But inside of the jail, I want to explain to everyone how long the process will take, what is the mathematical probability of you being released versus you being incarcerated, why the County of Essex makes the decisions that it makes, because there's a budget requirement, there are X amount of beds, all the beds inside of the county jail need to be filled in order to maximize on the federal credits that they receive. They are able to manipulate the quantity of human beings that are incarcerated by making a choice by filing a motion for detention or not. They misuse the system on a regular basis in order to inflate the numbers of the budget and deflate the quality of the product that they are supposed to deliver based on the budget that they receive. Have I been clear?
Yeah.
There has not been a single person that has done a single thing about it in the entire time since this process has started, except for this video, as well as me, myself, and Irene. Please understand that joke is a reference to a movie by the Farley brothers starring Jim Carrey and Renee Zellweger. That is not me being insane. It is a movie about a man who is insane. There is a part of the movie where he wears a mustache. That mustache is extremely comical because I am neither a law enforcement officer nor do I pretend to be one, but at the same time I look absolutely ridiculous with a mustache for anyone who's actually known me. So this mustache will stay until I believe that I have fully resolved the issues at 100%. I am a human being who has an extremely complicated job. I have been a victim of a series of crimes. I am also a human that is recovering from the fact that I have not seen my children for 8 months, and the recovery process will not end for years to come because it is beyond traumatic and it is a lifelong mental injury both to me and my children. The human beings that are involved in this process have illegally arrested me, so I spent 31 days in jail. As a direct response, rather than taking out my anger and angst in some illegal format, which is the core of the reason of why I'm frustrated, is because I use my intellect rather than my brawn in order to enact, I don't want to use the word revenge, because revenge is very negative. What I do is retaliate legally through the legal process and create beautiful solutions that are able to help millions of human beings, which then allow both my enemies and the people judging both me versus my enemies to take a look at my character. Once my character is on full display, that is called game, set, match, because I have never one time in my life done a single thing in bad faith. That is a fact. That is extremely important for you to understand. Bad faith actors should simply never be on television.